Hi gang, it's Deltia from Deltia'sGaming.com, and we are back with another Q&A number 2 here, going over some basic questions over the game and maybe some personal questions about myself. You guys gave me a lot of positive feedback. Seems like you really enjoyed this and I enjoyed producing it, so hey, let's do it again. First question up here is, what's the best Stamina Nightblade set? So the things I can tell you about like what the best gear is number one, context. I can't say that this set is going to be best overall because it's not. It could be VMA, one set performs well. It could be Dungeons, another set performs well. Trials, PvP, solo PvP, group PvP, large group PvP. There's just so many different aspects to the game. So I'm going to give you some general advice here. In PvE, mobs cannot resist critical hit. And crit hit damage are really important. So if you're doing a larger group, Dungeons, Trials, usually gear sets that give you a lot of damage or crit hit damage, crit hit multiplier, crit hit percentage, those sets are typically really good. Take VMA for instance, it's solo based, right? Mobs have around 18,000 resistance, so what's really good in there? Something that takes away a lot of resistance, like maybe say Night Mother's Gaze, Spriggans, Twice Veined Snake, those sorts of sets. So it really depends. The best advice I can give people in generalizing what's really good for gear, what's best, is typically PvP. I like to run max stats, weapon damage. So I like max stamina, I like weapon damage, and I like penetration. So a really good set for that, Spriggans. Has great penetration, which the medium armor doesn't have, unlike eye armor. It has max stats, which help your damage and healing, and it has weapon damage. It's a really strong set. So PvE, it really depends on, are you playing solo in a group? Solo, penetration's great. In a group, you want crit hit damage and a lot of crit. PvP, are you playing solo? You're going to need a lot more healing, so weapon damage, max stats. If you're playing in a group, well, that's a little different. You can go for more sustained DPS or even crit. Hopefully that advice helps you, but really there is no one answer. And if someone says so, really it just depends on the situation. Alright, so a question about me. What is Deltia from? Where did I get this name from? So first of all, I'm dyslexic. So if you know what that is, basically your brain mixes around words and letters and so forth. So I love Final Fantasy, one of my favorite series of all time, and there was a game called Final Fantasy Tactics. And if you remember in there's a guy actually named Deltia, which basically I think the I and the A are turned around. So, like, way back when, I don't know, 15 years, 20 years ago, I liked that character, so I just said Deltia, and I spelled it wrong because my dyslexia, and then I just kind of kept it because every game I play, especially online, no one would have that name because no one screwed up the name, the spelling of it. So that's where I got the name from. Okay, here's a really good question. What would you consider the best way to boost survivability? More max health, large resistance, or a mix of both? Once again, it depends. It depends on the situation. I think a lot of people stack max health because they say, oh, hell, well, if I run out of it, I die, right? Basic stuff. But really, max health is not your number one survivability tool. Unless you're maybe even a tank, I don't even stack a whole lot of max health. Usually my only characters have 30,000 health or tanks. Otherwise, I don't go very much. So why am I telling you this? Because there's certain abilities in the game, like Harness Magic, Annulment, which is the light armor skill, that gives you a shield based on how much max magic you have. So if I run around with 50,000 max magic, use Harness Magic, my entire health bar is covered with a shield that lasts 6 seconds. So you could literally run around with 5 health. And as long as you're using shields appropriately when you're taking damage, recasting them, refresh them, who cares how much max health you have? That's on a magic character. Stand characters, surviving really depends on high movement, using dodge rolls a lot. So a lot of recovery, in fact, is really useful for just basic survivability tool. Remember that once you get better at the game, your goal is to run as little recovery as possible because you have to give up something to get something. You're in a lot of recovery, well, you're not getting a lot of weapon damage. You're not getting a lot of max stamina. Same thing with magic. A lot of magic regen, you have to sacrifice something. So the way you want to play the game when you're learning it, run a lot of regen when you're starting off. Why? Because you can cast your abilities a lot more. You can save yourself from getting in trouble, especially if you're a stand build, doing dodge rolls, especially if you don't have vigor and some of these other abilities that heal you really proficiently off the bat. You want to adjust your character so that you're getting heals based on using damage. So you don't have to stop and heal. Every class, every weapon type has some way to do this. Stamina builds. A lot of people use two-hander, but rally is really far along in the tree. People don't know this, but Bloodthirst, which is the morph of Flurry, not Rapid Strikes, but Bloodthirst, that thing heals the crap out of you. And guess what? It does damage at the same time. So when you talk about survivability, it's about damage. It's actually not about defensives. It's about stacking as much damage as you can and making sure that your primary spammable ability is healing you. Then you're doing damage and healing at the same time. I know this sounds simple, but really, it took me a long time to realize that. Same thing with the Magic Templar, using Puncturing Sweeps. You know that's my class. Why? It's very, very simple. Your main damage ability heals the crap out of you. So if you're walking around and you're using, 40,000 health and it takes you 2 minutes to kill mobs and you feel comfortable doing that, great. You can run around with 20,000 health, almost 45,000 magic, and Puncturing Sweeps hits so hard, heals you so much, you can fight 20 mobs here in this little dungeon and nothing can touch you. So survivability comes from resource generation, stacking shields, and doing so much damage that you're healing at the same time, or you're just killing stuff so fast. Alright, No More Nachos has a question, and basically started ESO a few weeks talking about PvP, and he's like, what is everyone complaining about? Now, Deltia life lessons here. Basically, if you don't get anything ever from watching my videos, I want you to get this. You get in life what you think about. I'm going to say that again. You get in life what you think about. If you think and focus on negativity, you get that in your life. Trust me, I've had a lot of it. So when people talk about negativity, you gotta understand this is a game, it grows, it evolves, and players are gonna find the most optimal way to kill other players. It's just gonna happen. They don't care about ethics, they don't care about, counter ability, they don't care about any of that. They wanna feel powerful. That makes people feel good about themselves. So when they say what's wrong with PvP, basically, the Viper proc sets. What was happening is you had zero counterplay. You'd have a Nightblade that would come in stealth, fully charge heavy attack, you would do a snipe or something else, surprise attack and cap. 3 things would land at once and you're dead, and you have zero counterplay. Typically in an MMO, you cannot get one shot, or you have to have a second or 2 to react. This is one of the only MMOs where you don't have that possibility. Sometimes you just die before you can even react. That sucks. Now they're working towards fixing that, so hopefully that will be the case. But same thing with Destro Ult, Destruction Staff Ultimate, very powerful, huge radius, and sometimes you can't block the damage. So it's a really hard ability to counter because, well, you can't block the damage, you can't use your stamina pool. So in terms of balance, also some classes have a lot of big advantages over others. Magic Templar, guys. Hear me say this. Why do I play it? Number 1, it's easy. I heal like a truck, and I have a cleanse. I go on my Magic Dragonite. Why do I not like playing my Magic Dragonite? Well, even if they fix Coagulating Blood to make an amazing heal, great. I don't have a cleanse. When I say cleanse, I'm removing harmful effects. So if you want to counter someone's build and they have tons of healing, what do? You debuff their healing received. Templar, if someone does that to me, I cleanse it off, I'm still healing, I got major mending, I'm really hard to kill, I have a lot of damage, and I have a lot of survivability. So balance, some classes have all 3. Stam Sork, amazing resource generation, great ultimates, hits like a truck, huge max stat value. There's really no downside to play it. So those are the couple kind of the things that people are complaining about. The ultimates, the class specifically, but ultimately it's an MMO. I've never played an MMO that was balanced because they don't exist. Players are going to break the game. That's what we do. We try to find the builds that make us the most powerful, and frankly kick the crap out of other people because that's what makes us feel good or we enjoy that. But you only get out of life what you think about. So if you're constantly saying this builds cancer and this is bad or whatever, your brain is constantly thinking negative. I'm getting negative. I'm getting it constantly. Stop playing the game. If it's that bad and you hate it that much, put it down, or you got an addiction. Why would you do something that you hate day in, day out, and complain about it? That doesn't make sense. Go for a walk, walk your dog, get a girlfriend, read a book, ride a bike, do something with your life. Go to a homeless shelter, volunteer. Stop complaining. Nothing But Sarcasm asked the CP related question, what level should I start competing in veteran dungeons? I also get this question a lot about VMA. So really there is no answer. There is no, at 100 you should do this, because there are people that have beaten Veteran Maelstrom Arena with 0 CP. You can do it. Is it easy? No. But that's the point. It's not supposed to be easy. Remember that CP is kind of an incentive. Champion points to keep you playing a long time. It's a business. The more you play, the longer you play, the more money they make. So that's why they have this big, huge, long tier progression system. With that being said, so I go on PS4 EU. One day I got to 160 CP. Literally one day. From 0 to 160. I'll have a guide on it. But we started doing dungeons, and I was 160 CP, had 3 stellar players with me, and it didn't feel like it was a big deal. Now fast forward to some other times when I've pugged these dungeons, and I'm at 561, best in slot gear. I'm on my PC NA character, and it's an absolute nightmare because the other people I'm playing with aren't really prepared for PvE. It depends. I would say it comes down to the player. Investigate your build, get better at it, and keep trying. A lot of people focus on champion points as the reason that's holding them back from accomplishing their goals. A lot of people do this in life too. Stop. If you legitimately think it is, go grind CP. Otherwise, keep trying. Find like-minded people that are willing to help you and get better at it. Because there's a reason I didn't play consoles for a while. Didn't have a whole lot of CP. And my old man hands didn't let me use the controller for a while. So what did I do? I stopped playing. And that's the wrong attitude to have. When you hit something that's a roadblock in your life, move towards it, not away. Because when you accomplish it, it will feel a lot better than coming back 2 years later when you can blow through it easy peasy. So my lesson to you is keep working at it, keep trying, and don't give up. Anyone can accomplish anything in this game with 0 CP, except maybe hard mode, vet, recot, or something. So, keep going after it, use your resources, look for feedback, get a guild, and just hit that dungeon finder. Sometimes you meet really cool people, sometimes you don't, but it's worth giving it a shot. Gang, I know we had a lot of Deltia lecture time, but sometimes I feel like it's important I use this platform to kind of share my opinions about life in general, because I think negativity's on the rise. People aren't appreciative of what they have. And I'm alive every day when I could have been dead really easily. So it's great. It's a great day to be alive. You got to really think that. So it is such a great day because of you folks investing your time, your money, your attention into me. So honestly, I'll keep pumping out these videos. You keep liking it because this is a dream come true. It really is. So with that, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.